Hey, I'm the cat toy lady. Today's duds should give you a hint as to what I'm doing. I'm building. Today we're going to make a really cool cat scratcher that actually folds flat so you can put it away. We all have those moments where we have people coming over and we have a ton of cat stuff everywhere. As long as you have a saw and a staple gun, this is going to be super easy and your cat is going to love it. The best part to the scratcher is that you can change out the scratching area and you can use lots of different materials. I'm going to go over some of that with you. It doesn't have to be the plain carpet or cardboard scratcher anymore. Cats love a little variety. So here's some of the stuff we're going to be using. I have some 3-foot long pieces of wood, 4 that come in 1/2 inch by 1.5 inches, and then 6 that come in 1/4 inch by 1.5 inch. I have turn buttons, which are those little things that go in the back of picture frames that swivel back and forth so you can take the picture out. We're going to need 8 of those, and then we're going to need 2 of these. They're called binding posts. They're going to be our hinges. Then I have a roll of fabric. It's just that dollar store stuff. Nice and easy, comes in lots of cute patterns. Also from the dollar store, I have 3 sheets of stick-on cork and 3 cardboard cat scratchers. Then I have 1 sheet of foam poster board. Instead of using this, you can use wood, but I find this is easier to use. I have my hot glue, a staple gun, I am using a saw, and of course don't forget safety, I have my glasses. Let's get started and I'll show you how to make this awesome cat scratcher. And like usual, I forgot to tell you about a tool. I'm going to be using a drill to make a hole. The hole is going to be for that binding post. What that is just a 1-inch post with a screw that goes into it. So I'm going to be drilling a hole for the binding post 1 inch down, but only 1/2 inch at the farthest point of that hole from one of your long edges. So you can kind of see my grid here. And when I make my hole, I'm going to stay within that section. You don't want to go any farther in than 1/2 inch. And I'm going to drill my hole all the way through all 4 pieces. You can just line them up if you have a long enough drill bit. But for now, I'm just going to do 2 at a time. So there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and start cutting up the 1/4 inch pieces of wood. On 2 of the strips, I'm going to go ahead and mark 2 sections of 13 inches. And then the last section I'm going to mark in half, which will be 5 inches in between. So 13, 13, 5, and 5. Do this to 1 more piece. Then grab 2 more pieces, and on both of these, we're going to mark every 12 inches. So basically we're dividing it into 3 pieces, just like that. And your last 2 pieces, we're going to hold on to them till the end. So go ahead and cut on the marks you've made. Go ahead and just remove some of the wood splinters. Just take a nice wood block to it and smooth them out. Now I'm going to go ahead and assemble. So go ahead and take one of your 13-inch pieces and your 12-inch piece. We are going to center them to where there's 1/2 inch on each side, and then we're going to stagger them to where about half of your 12-inch piece is sticking up, yet still centered long ways. Then we're going to take your 5-inch piece on the opposite side from your 12-inch, sticking it up just the same way, and we are going to center it in between 2. To make it easy, I'm going to set down these pieces of wood, the 3-foot pieces that I still have whole, just to elevate up. I am going to be stapling these, and I know my staples are long, so I don't want to end up stapling these pieces to the table. So I'm just eyeballing, make sure everything's centered, and we are going to put 2 staples in to that 5-inch piece. Careful, the staples are going to come through the wood. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a pair of snips, cut the pieces off that are sticking through, and any wood that may have chipped off. Then using my hammer, I'm going to just bend those pieces to the side to make them lie flush with the rest of the wood. Then I'm going to repeat this 3 more times. Next, we're going to attach the turn buttons to those long pieces of wood. When you put them on, it's important to know that the side that your hole is closest, you want to do the opposite side from that hole, and then you only want the tab to come off the end by about 1/8 inch. We're going to put the first one 13 inches down from where that hole is. I'll show you. Just like that. You want it to be tight enough to where it stays in place, but loose enough to where you can slide it back and forth somewhat. Now put 1 more on this piece 10 inches down. Repeat this on the other 3 long pieces. When you're putting these on your second pieces, remember you're going to have 2 matching pairs. So you want them on the outside of each piece. Once you have your tabs on, we're going to go ahead and mark with the tabs pointed up 5 inches down and then 20 inches from that 5-inch mark. So this is how they're going to line up. Your 13-inch piece is going to be towards the outside of the wood. So either towards your 5-inch section or the opposite side after that 20-inch gap. You're going to line up that piece of wood right with your 13-inch piece where they're overlapping. You're going to connect this to both pieces of wood. And then you're going to attach it the same way, but with that 13-inch piece on the opposite side. So towards the bottom, this will be the top. And then you're going to take another one of those 12-inch pieces, line it up in the center. It doesn't have to be exactly measured. You just want to make sure that your turn tabs aren't going to be in the way. You want to keep it flush right here and then staple it into place too. And remember, we're using thin wood. So if any of your staples come through, just clip them off and hammer any of the sharp points down. Now that you have your little mini ladder, you're going to repeat this with the rest of the pieces of wood. So both pieces are done. Now we just have to attach them together. We're going to put these bars on the outside. So lay one side down and put the other side facing up. And they are going to be staggered where they sit right next to each other at the bars. Then we take the binding post. We are going to put them through 2 of the holes and screw it together. And I'm keeping the shiny metal part on the outside and the flathead screw part on the inside. So feed it through and then screw it together. And then repeat it on the other side. And just so you know, you can go ahead and paint this if you want. I like to use raw wood sometimes with cats, especially anything I know they're going to be rubbing their cheeks on. It just absorbs that odor, their scent more. You know, cats scent mark with their cheeks. So I want them to be able to take full advantage of the wood. So this is the ladder by itself without the scratchers in it. These pieces are made for the scratchers to be able to slide into and be supported. So let me go ahead and show you how to build the scratching part. And look, it folds flat. Today I'm just using the cardboard scratcher and the cork, but things to think of to be able to make scratchers out of. Have you ever noticed how cats are drawn to couches, especially leather and pleather? Unfortunately, I couldn't get my hands on enough pleather today to be able to really show you how to make it. So maybe in a later video, I'll just make nothing but scratchers for you to be able to see the different textures that you can use. But just know, you can do a layer of pleather with a layer of batting on the back side to give it a little bit of squish, and the pleather will drive your cats nuts. Another option, going to the dollar store and just getting that front door rug. I'm not a big fan of carpet, but if they are going to scratch in carpet, at least this is a little bit better of a texture for cats. And it's not that long fibered stuff. But think outside of the box when you're making scratchers. Think about the things around the house that your cat likes to try to put their claws into. Try to give them the right place to be able to scratch instead of the wrong places. So I have our piece of foam poster board. We are going to leave it 20 inches long, but cut 2 13-inch pieces off of it. These 13-inch wide pieces are going to be the base for your scratchers that you're going to make. Again, you can do this out of wood if you don't like foam or cardboard. It's just up to you. I know that there's just a little bit of wiggle room when you slide the foam board in. So I know the cork will be able to fit inside with the foam board and not take up too much space. So I am going to make this go top to bottom. I'm going to start with the cork sheets. Cats love the texture of cork. What's neat about this cork is that it's basically a giant sticker. So we are going to line it up going straight down the center. You can just eyeball this. When you add the second piece on, just bump it right up against the other piece. Make sure you don't leave a gap. And to make this piece fit, I'm just going to bump it right up against, flip it over, and cut along the edge. And then stick it right on too. I mean, how easy is that? Take your scratchers out of the boxes, and then we're going to center them and glue them straight onto the foam board. When I glue onto the cardboard, I just do big blobs. I don't try to cover the whole thing. Your glue's gonna cool too quickly, and it's not gonna hold very well. You need that good blob to be able to make contact. I use the other pieces as my guide to be able to keep everything straight, and glue on your other 2 pieces. And your cardboard scratcher is done too. Just set them to the side for just a minute. Now we need to go ahead and add on the little kitty cat hammock. The fabric I'm using is 20 by 21 inches. I'm going to take it and I'm going to fold it into quarters. So fold it in half and fold it in half again. I'm making sure I'm keeping those original corners lined up. And now cutting diagonally from that corner, I'm going to cut 6 inches in. See the snip we made? So we're just going to go ahead and tie it on. It is going to go up here. And I'm going to leave this loose for just a second. And then for the other side, I'm going to just kind of roll this piece so it sits nice and smooth right here. And I'll go ahead and tie this side nice and tight with a knot. Then I can tighten up this piece and making sure my knot's sitting on the side. Then flipping this around, putting a knot on the other side, nice and tight. And the last piece, again, I'm going to do that nice little roll down to keep things nice and smooth. And remember, you can always go back and adjust your knots to make sure everything sits where it needs to. Just go ahead and get it on initially so you can see where everything sits and then adjust from there. Remember the other wood that we had? I went ahead and cut 2 10.5 long pieces from it. I did give it a measure in between this bar on each side, and when this is fully open, it came to 10.5 inches. So that's where I got that measurement from. I'm just going to slide them in. You may have to wedge them just a little to keep them nice and tight, but this acts as your brace so it can't close up on itself, yet you can still fold it flat when you want to. So it's nice and tight, and it just fits in. And we have a good kitty hammock. All we have left to do is slide these bad boys into place. Just move your tabs to where they're facing out of the way. Down here, in between those 2 pieces that stick up, and same as up here, I'm going to slide this sideways. Right into place. And then making sure to drop my tabs right back down. Now I'll go ahead and load the other side too. Top and bottom. Right into place. And there we go. We have cork on one side, cardboard on the other, and a cute little kitty hammock in between. So there we go. The base is done. Making new scratchers is going to be a cinch. You can try lots of different textures, and your cat can really do that kitty yoga stretch to be able to scratch. Remember, you can also make this in lots of different heights. I have a really large kitty, so she needed some extra height to be able to scratch on. But if you mainly work with kittens, you can make a mini size, or if you want to make one that goes all the way up to your ceiling, you can make a giant one. And the best part is, it folds up and can be put away. And you want to see something else that's cool? Check out these videos. I make tons of other toys, and there's a subscribe button right there for you to click on too. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. If there's any certain toys that you want me to make, big or small, just let me know.